Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly timeframes. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So let's go right into the daily chart of the SPY, and pretty much a non-eventful day or uneventful day. 70 cents down, 0.30%, nothing big. We did have some pretty good intraday action. Little gap down to a push up for 30 minutes. Nice little fall. Bearish pattern. Down we go. Almost catch the bottom here on this little pivot. They drive it up before light volume takes over. Floats back up to the breakdown area. Comes back in. Tries to get it back above the 200 MA. Comes right back in and closes below the 50 MA. So a little bit weak close, but no great shakes. The only thing that I'm looking at is we're still below the 50 MA and the 20 MA. This is setting up sideways. So if you're bearish, you're looking for this thing to keep going sideways for the next week or so, setting up for lower prices. We still have double bottom, couple gap fills down in here. So let's see how this thing sets up. If you're bullish, you need it to get above the MAs, above the trend line, the pivots, the gap fill, all-time high 240.32, then possibly 242.43 up in that area, and then the 252, 250 area too as well. One step at a time, guys. Let's see if we can get above the pivot and all this other stuff first, and then we'll take it from there. If not, then I'm thinking lower prices to come. And again, each and every day we get a new piece of the puzzle. For all I know, we gap up and keep going, or possibly gap down and come right down and double bottom and maybe bounce there. Still have a gap fill too. They created one down here too, so we have a little more support as well. And 83 million on the day. Not the best, not the worst. Still a little bit light volume on the day. The IWM, 3 cents up. It scratched its way out pretty much on the 10-minute chart. Came up, kind of same thing, a little bit bearish, came down, hit the little bit of a pivot here, boom, straight back up. This one did get above the 200 and close, so a little bit stronger than the rest of them. On the daily chart, we still are below the 20 and the 50 MA. Again, if you're bullish, needs to get above those, get above the pivot, this pivot, and then shoot for the all-time high, then possibly higher. We'll take it as it goes. If it gets above here, then we'll look at it. Then you're looking at the 142, possibly the 145. Right now, if it stays this way, just keeps chopping around sideways, look for a little more downside, a double bottom, and if that cracks, I'm still thinking somewhere in this area. I think there's, a couple gap fills here. Big gap fill, though. I think everything goes back till November, because this Trump rally, this was just a bunch of crap. They pushed it up, got all the puts in there, and just kept it for 4 or 5 months, just destroyed puts for 5 months in the IWM. This action, though, has given us some pretty good plays here, some short-term weekly options, which has been really good for us. The Qs, still light volume, though, on the IWM. The Qs, same thing, came back in, pushed it back up to the top here, pushed it right back down, a little bit bearish, still bullish, above the MAs here. Nothing wrong with this chart, guys. You just got to take it for as it comes. Let the markets tell us what to do. I keep telling you guys that. I want to just put a fib up in here though. So we're holding the 7 or the 250 retrace. We're still above the 50 and the 20. Still above these pivots. Again, let's see if we can consolidate more. If you're bullish, got to pop above here. Get above the 133.48, then higher prices to come. If not, if it just stays chopping around, starts getting below the 50, fills the gap, I think we're going to double bottom down in here to these pivots. And then, I'm thinking gap fill. There's a couple things down here. You got the 200 MA, but ultimately the lows back in November here. Even this gap fill is not bad. We'll see how it reacts when it comes down. If it does, if it continues up, who knows, 135, 140 area. Again, one step at a time. I thought for sure with this little bit of a bullish pattern, we'd pop up, but again, came back in, inside bar, a little bit bearish, started coming in, catching the 50 MA, holding in between there. Let's see what this thing can do. Light volume prevails still, so keep an eye on that. DIA, a little bit down today, $1.09 or 0.53%. Still nothing wrong. Inside bar, bearish pattern, below the MAs, below the trend line, below the big trend line here too. They're trying to pop it above. We did get above it, came right back in today. So let's see if we can continue sideways, holding this little pivot down here. Then I'm thinking if it does go sideways, these MAs are going to start pushing this thing down. I think we're heading down to the 186 to the 190 area down in here somewhere. Again, one step at a time with these patterns, with these plays. IBM had some little bit of a butt kicking after hours, so this one, is expected to be down. And if Goldman keeps going, JPM keeps going, this could get really ugly tomorrow and the next day. Maybe a couple hundred points, who knows? Couple things are going off tomorrow. We'll have to keep an eye on those earnings. Excuse me, and then next week we'll see what happens. But the DIA, nothing wrong. Light volume again, holding this thing up. Let's see what tomorrow brings and the rest of the week. It is options X, so keep your eyes and ears open for anything or news or BS or whatever they're dishing out tomorrow. All right, let's get into the IYT, which is a transport. Again, this thing bounced up. It hugged this line, even got above the 20 MA, and boom, right back down. So that's a little bit weak. Now we have an inside bar on an inside bar, bearish patterns. Let's see if we stay below the 50 and the 20. If we do that and chop around, that's setting up for lower prices. I think if it does chop, I think we'll go through the 200 here and possibly go lower. There are some gaps to fill down in this area. And then the November lows, which is 141.85. So we got to watch for that. But again, good support coming in here. Gap fill, 750, 200 MA. We'll see how it reacts around the 150 area, which is another 10 bucks down. So keep an eye on this one. If you're bullish, you need to get back above these moving averages, hit this pivot, and then go for the all-time high again. You'll still have some good resistance around 170, 171. So that's what it needs to do to get up there, of course. Once we get up to the 175 or 173.88, we'll see how it reacts. Or does it come right back down? Or does it stay here, chop around, and then possibly fall? If you're bearish, you want to be right where we are. Goes sideways, sideways, sideways. 50 MA curls in the price. Boom, sends this thing down. Possibly to the 141, easily to the 150 area, and then we'll go from there. So keep an eye on that. Light volume prevails. See how it's just chopping, then boom, boom, 2 days down, and then looking weak again. Again, this one has to be the leader, not the lagger. I told you that for months, if not years, if you watch my videos. USO has a mind of its own. Great move off the lows, off the gap fill. Can't, hats off to this guy here, but right back to this gap fill. I thought for sure we'd go a little higher. Again, not bad bullish consolidation. I don't like the fact that it pulled back because this could be starting a bearish consolidation above the MA. So let's take this one day at a time. We did add some long to the SCO, which is short the USO, but just a 3 times inverse ETF, the SCO. We started adding to that position. We're up a little bit on the on that one as we sit here. So again, nothing wrong. Back above the MAs. Let's take this thing one day at a time. Tomorrow's the oil inventory numbers. Whipsaw Wednesday. For all I know, this thing tanks or this thing shoots up. If it comes up into this area, fills the gaps up in here, especially this one here at the 1168 or even the $12 area, I'll be adding more of the SCO up in here. So one day at a time. But if this thing pulls back, comes right back down here, SCO position will be off the table. So right now it's pretty strong. Had a heck of a move. I would doubt we pull back a little bit more, but we'll have to wait and see what it gives us. UUP, which is $1, down 22 cents today. Got a little bit of a slacking today. Filled the gap. Looks like it is going to go towards the 200 MA. Let's see if it could drop down in here. Short-term time frame, you're probably into the 750, so you might get a bounce there. But again, looking a little bit weak, making lower highs as it's coming down. Let's see if this will be support or does it come down. We've been talking about this gap fill at 25.06 for a while. Let's see if we could get down there, fill that gap. Here I might get interested in going long the dollar again. We'll have to see how it goes. But right now, coming in pretty good. Bullish patterns out. This thing comes down, hits this. Let's look for the next bounce, or does it go sideways? Again, not much to do. If you're short, enjoy it. If you're long, tighten the stop. You could still come down to the $25 area. For me, nothing to do here other than watching this thing, see what happens. Dollar down. Gold was up a little bit today, but the USO was down a little bit today. Gold, nothing wrong again. We did take some off the top up here, so if you were long with gold, we've been in it since 110 or 110.56, right in that area. We did sell half at 122.40 or right in that area as well. I don't have the exact numbers with me right now. I still think we go to 125 or so. If we do, this is the big breakdown area, so you could possibly pull a little more off. If you get to this gap fill or this gap fill around the 127, 128, you got to pull something off the table. If you get to 130, you definitely got to do something. That's a $20 trade from our area. So, which is a great trade for gold. Let it pull back and we'll do it again. Or maybe we'll go short gold, maybe ride it down. We'll have to take a look at it, see what happens. And then the Jnug, guys. I can't make any heads or tails of this. You're still in a bullish pattern here. We're back below the 20 MA, so be careful. It is in a weak stance. Gold goes up. This should go up. maybe it's setting up for that one big pop. If it does, then get the heck out. If it does crack this trend line and creep below the 529 area, then you're definitely going into the 431, 383 area. Down in here around $4, I'll be even a buyer down here. If it goes a little lower, I'll buy some more. You know, maybe 1,000 shares, nothing crazy, maybe 2,000. I get $2, $3, $4 out of it. I'm done, guys. I don't sit around with these trades. But again, nothing really wrong with this. You know, it is kind of bearish overall, but micro bull here. I wish it wouldn't have chopped around so much. I wish it kind of would have just went straight. This up and down action I don't really like, but it looks like it's pegged to the 20 moving average. So let's see if it's getting away from it, if it comes right back up again. Just watch these areas, guys. Watch this pivot here. Watch this little pivot there. If we start making loop, especially on this one, if we get below that one and close, then you might get some lower prices. Keep an eye on the GLD. I trade the GLD, guys. I can't deal with this when gold's up and this one's down. It's like, okay, that's fine, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I know I got in some emails about how it works and this and that, but I don't want to. I want to say if people are buying, it goes up. People are selling, it goes down. Gold goes up, this should be going up. I know it's the juniors, I guess, or what have you, but still, you know, just play with the gold. That's it. Do a $10,000 position or a $20,000 position, whatever. Just go small and make it happen. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. It was a pretty eventful day. I like the intraday action on the SPY. You know, it was some pretty good up and down moves. So tomorrow it is Whipsaw Wednesday, Options X. So we're going to see if it lives up to his name. Again, let's go back to the SPY. And right now, nothing to do. You know, we're short these indexes, so hopefully we get a little more pullback right now, and that's what we're kind of looking for. And if it goes up, then we'll have to see what we're going to do with these positions. So one day at a time, guys. As the markets are telling us what to do, that's when we make our move and try to do, you know, try to make a good trade out there. So, all right, guys, thanks again for watching my videos. God bless. See you on the charts.